Andres likes this one.
Fuck you. Not my favorite.
What do you mean, fuck you? You like it. What do you want me to say? It's all right. You can own it. It's a good video. I don't blame you, bro.
You stop talking.
Sir, nobody in the audience
me.
is nobody in the audience is gonna hate
Oh.
on you. Nobody in the audience is
No.
gonna hate on you for liking that video, sir.
Don't ever talk for me. No, sir.
Whatever, sir. Whatever. I don't like how this is already starting, folks. MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast in the house. What's good? Jeff S, aka TrueKnowledge, here to lead the discussion and moderate our live stream review of the Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Part 2. I'm here with our guest panel, my co-host Cyberneticshark. I'm just a pop culture guy, as usual, over here talking shit early. Running ahead. And we are supposed to be having Zachary from South Park Bros podcast coming out, and he's running a little bit late. But when he comes on, it'll be his first show with us. So that's always very exciting. We hope you enjoy the show. We just did The Matrix, not last week, but the week before that, the first film. We enjoyed it. We're doing, part 2 right now. And overall, in general, I hope you all enjoyed the live stream. Get the comment section. Please feel free to engage. Support us. Consider supporting, follow, whatever platform you find us. Subscribe the shit out of us. Get us to 50,000 subscribers, and turn on all notifications on our YouTube channel so that, we drop content when we're live, on Monday nights, and Wednesday nights, and Friday nights. We have our Fallout episode 8 finale review on Friday at 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. Cyber will be there. Andres will be there. There'll be a lot of motherfuckers there. We're going to be playing drinking games. Just going to be off the hook. Seriously. So, gentlemen, Cyberneticshark, sir, how is your Wednesday going?
Oh, just hunky-dory. Just got out of work maybe an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. So, yeah, just living the life.
Well, it sounds like you're living the life, sir. But we appreciate the dedication. I know that that doesn't give you a lot of respite time, right? Or family time or anything like that. Whatnot. You're just right back in the chair, live and again. But that's the life of the live streamer, right? You sound like me. You sound like me when I was doing those blowjob impressions during that one Fallout review. That's right, Andres. You didn't notice that, Cyber, when I was doing that with Ben? I was fucking with Ben doing the blowjob. Andres saw me doing it. You were moderating on that show.
No, I did not notice.
I was doing all the typical old fashioned blowjob, mock-ups, pretending a dick just come out the side of my cheek and shit like that, whatnot,
Oh, you're making the movements. You're making
yeah.
Okay.
I was deep throating my mic.
Yeah, so I remember that now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember you making sounds, but I do remember you making motions.
That's right. I was. Yes. I'm just a pop culture guy, sir. How is your Wednesday or whatever day it is, in whatever dimension you're in or coming from or whatever today?
Well, very good. Just finished a project, so that's good. It's starting to rain over my area. I don't know how you guys' weather is. Thunderstorms right now, but hopefully it doesn't affect the internet for me.
I don't know. I was telling you, bro, maybe it's the Matrix. It's not rain, it's the Matrix, or some shit. You never know, man. You're a time traveler. So anyways, gentlemen, the Matrix Reloaded. So I saw it in the theater when it came out. I did. It was very enjoyable, I thought. Very entertaining. I don't know about either one of you, but I'd say probably if I had to guess on my overall watches lifetime, I'm probably at maybe 4 or 5 after today, right? And then my first one was that first year. What was it? 2002 or 21? 2003 when it dropped. That's when I saw it the first time. Cyber, how about you? Thank you, sir. What's your watch count on it? And then when did you first see it?
Let's see. Probably overall count that I've seen it, I don't know, probably at least 10 times over the last 21 years. I would say. I mean, because I remember I didn't see it until it was on DVD, Blu-ray, because it came out shortly before Revolutions dropped in November of that year. So I saw it on Blu-ray. I believe I rented it from Blockbuster and I watched it and absolutely loved it. And so yeah, I probably watched it like at least 3 or 4 times when I rented it. So yeah, so I mean, I've probably watched it more probably a dozen times. And yeah, my first time was I rented it and watched it from Blockbuster.
Yep, May 15th, 2003. So I saw it in North Carolina with my ex-wife Amanda when she was pregnant with Isabella at that point. I'm just a pop culture guy. Same question.
I think the first time I seen this movie, I think was in TV. It's like the first movie, and yeah, I seen bits of this film. Actually, this is my first time seeing the full movie. I seen bits of this movie. I remember the car chase scene with the keymaker, the ending, the multiple Smiths, but I didn't see some of the half sections, particularly with the city they're in, the siren. But seeing it again fully, properly, it's it's very good. I like the Matrix, the first one. I see this multiple times with the scenes I seen with this movie. So because I was too young to see this in the theater, so that's the problem.
Oh, I see. That's right. Too young to go to the theater. I never let that stop me. I just went, baby. Nobody stops you. You just go in. Okay, so that's actually a good final setup question before we actually dive into the film. I have the trailer. I'm going to go ahead and prepare it here in a minute and whatnot before we launch into the actual breakdown and the intro of the movie. But going back to you, Andres, coming off of reviewing The Matrix, I guess it's already kind of established from discussing this already with other people in the chat, and like you or other people I bumped into in life, that this movie, Matrix Part 2, is considered the other high quality film of the Matrix films. Well, there were only 3 of them. This was like the 2 of the 3 that were really of quality, but still, it was a step down from the first film. Right, that's always been kind of like the tagline on it. So where are you at with that, as far as comparing it with the first Matrix film? And are you with us, Zach? Zach, can you hear me, brother? Are you blackface? Oh, we can see you. Okay. Eventually, he will tap into the Matrix. He'll call in with the phone in the Matrix, and we'll get him into the audio. He's got to get the call from Link or whatever first before we can get that shit going. So either way, back to my question, Andres. I'm not, I guess compare, contrast, or whatever. Going back to what you were saying just a moment ago, the first film to go to the second film.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the sequel just it was a tough decision for the filmmakers to really top the first film, and I think this movie does a really good job of expanding the universe of the Matrix, but for me, it just lacks, I think, the structure and I don't know, I. Like, the best part about this movie for me is the action. The action is spectacular. I have no problem with that. It's just the character development on certain characters I just don't care about, which we'll get into in the review. But I had to agree with a lot of people. It's very inferior than the first one, but I still enjoy it. I mean, it's way better than the third part. When we get to the third part, I have major issues with the third part, but I think the second one it's much better over the third film, but it's not as good as the first one.
I didn't say anything about the fucking third film. I said the first Matrix film and goddamn Matrix Reloaded, motherfucker. All right, you're gonna come in saying "fuck you" to me to start the show off and shit, whatnot, and all that. I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit right now. I never once fucking said Matrix 3, bitch, motherfucker.
Well, if you want
Not
me
once, not once. That unless Angela Bassett said it.
Angela Bassett. Well, I'm done.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You know, good for you. Either way. I'm sorry, sir. I had to let loose on you a little bit there because you came at me hard to start the show. Zachary, sir, are you with us? Can you read me? We can't hear you, sir. Are you talking? We can't hear your audio. Okay, you can hear. We can't hear you though. So you might have to play with your settings, like your input settings or whatever, whatnot, because we can't hear your audio. Right? You guys can't hear Zach, can you?
No.
No.
Okay. Anyways, well, again, maybe Time Cop and his like interdimensional time traveling or whatever is rubbing off on Zach's tech or audio gear or some shit like that, whatnot. You never know. He could have the curse going on from that shit. So Cyber, same question to you, sir. Zach, did you hear the question that I dropped?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
There we go. Sorry about that. I was freaking. It was in my desktop. It was for the Steam Labs. Why I couldn't. You guys couldn't hear me.
That's okay, sir. I'm relieved now that I can hear you. I was worried there for a minute that they were going to have a rough, choppy kind of like first start of the show there for a minute. It's good though.
I was really struggling. I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. I was like, I know you can hear me and you can't hear me, but whatever.
Anyways, well, look, I'm going to go to you in a minute, Bob. First, I'm going to go to my co-host Cyberneticshark up there, up top with the actual Matrix green screen. And then Andre's a pop culture guy that, old, young, time traveling, fucking, Angela Bassett, foot massaging motherfucker at the bottom. He already went. The question is, in comparison, kind of the first Matrix film to like Matrix Reloaded, where are we at? You know what I mean? Like, in comparison, is how much worse or better, whatever. Go ahead, Cyber, and then we'll have Zach go.
Well, for me, Reloaded is a really good film. I don't really like to compare it to the first one, to the fact that the first one was its own whole dimension. If you think about it, each of these, Reloaded and its successor, as we haven't talked about yet, they're their own story. So Matrix 1 really was its own whole encompassed story. This is just a kind of a continuation of that story. So to compare them roughly, it's kind of hard simply for the fact that the first Matrix was its own whole thing, like I said, and this one is its own thing. And Reloaded, I really enjoy. I thought, rewatching it last night, the story is really done well.
The battery died.
The whole concept and everything about it was really done well. And I think a lot of people give this one slack and compare it too much to the first film because of how much more CGI they used in this film. Because there's a lot of scenes that have so much CGI at that time, which wasn't really good CGI at the time. I mean, it was okay. It definitely was along the lines of the CGI we saw like in the first Harry Potter films. I think a lot of people give it that slack because, both those films have that much CGI in them. And the first film didn't have that much CGI. So I think that's why a lot of people prefer the original Matrix over this one, is because of that. And, so that gives it kind of that cramping style why a lot of people compare it too much, because in their own right, they're two very different films, because we have new characters we're introduced to, but we have, of course, those original characters that their story is continuing. So I would have to say that I find Matrix Reloaded really fun on its own, and to compare it to the first one, I just don't think it's equivalent. I think both of them are good in their own right.
Yes, you know, and to correlate along with that, of course, you know that there's the whole deal that I just heard about today, where the directors really wanted to go in a direction that was considered sort of like not really logical, almost with the second and third film. Like they didn't want to kind of go with like what the typical plan was. They wanted to go kind of like, you know, rebel on it. It's hard to explain. But Zachary, just so you know, or if I had never reminded you, we have a private chat on here. So like, you know, like at any time that if you need to talk to me or whatever, whatnot, or you want to say anything or let me know anything or whatever, you could talk to us in the private chat, right? You know, and we talk in there. Can you hear me, Zach?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I was just fixing the audio quality because you were telling me that it was a little loud every time I moved. So I think I fixed the problem.
Thank you. So you that you answered my question. You already know the private chat's there. Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Back over to you on that same question. The first Matrix film, you know, in comparison to the second film, you know, Matrix Reloaded.
I think the first Matrix film can never be topped. Keanu Reeves is an amazing actor, and I can't wait to see what he does in further films. Actually, the thing I'm looking forward to seeing him in is the Sonic film, but we're not talking about Sonic right now. But in the Matrix films, he's just amazing at what he does, and every character he plays is just brilliant, and all the action sequences he's in, like, he's very great with stunts, as we could tell in every movie he puts his like 100% effort in. And whatever you like, if you're playing a part with Keanu, he'll make sure that you get recognized for that part. Like if you're like a stunt guy, he'll like make sure you get recognition. That's what he did in John Wick 4. But just like the whole aspect of the Matrix and the how like Neo is entering the like the source and the architects and like all the like choices that they made in this film just made it a really good film. It made segue to a good third film, but as the guy stated, the third film didn't hold up as great as it was supposed to. But right now we're talking about the second one, so I feel like they did an amazing job making a second Matrix as good as the first one.
We're gonna pretend that the third one never existed during this review. It never happened. That was never even a part of the actual reality. It never happened. So we are completely dead set focused on Matrix Part 2. That is, as Cyber said, it's in its own place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I still think it's connected to the first Matrix film. It was the Matrix trilogy. Now it's the Matrix Saga, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't goddamn know what they call it now. Whatever the fuck you call it when there's 4 of something instead of 3. Whatever that word is. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
It's like a trilogy, is what you're trying to say.
Whatever the fuck it is. I don't know who the fuck knows. I've thought about it a couple times. I have no idea what it is. Whatever you call it, 4 instead of 3. So either way. So to start off, right? I'm going to go ahead. I have my notes on the film, but I'm going to start off just from the the wiki summary of the film. So I'm basically going to leave some details out, if anything, to throw over to the panel and let you guys kind of fill in the gaps, through your contributions when we go around over questions here in a minute. Let me go ahead and read off this initial segment. I'll play the trailer, and then we'll go ahead and do our first question. So, as it reads here on Wikipedia, the plot starts with 6 months after the events of The Matrix. Neo and Trinity are now romantically involved. Morpheus receives a message from Captain Naomi of the Logos, calling an emergency meeting of all ships of Zion. An army of Sentinels is tunneling towards Zion. and will reach it within 72 hours. Commander Locke orders all ships to return to Zion to prepare, but Morpheus asks one ship to remain to contact the Oracle. Within the Matrix, the lone ship's crew is encountered by the former Agent Smith, who copies himself over the body of a crew member Bane and uses the phone line to leave the Matrix. Now, I hate to be out of order. I should have started with this first, but of course, the film is again directed by the Wachowskis, wherever they are now, and produced by Joel Silver. It stars Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, who was smoking hot during the Matrix, during all the Matrix films, still hot, but really hot back then, to me anyway. Hugo Weaving, Jada Pinkett Smith was an addition, Gloria Foster, cinematography Bill Pope, music by Don Davis, produced by Warner Brothers, May 7th, 2003 release date, 138 minutes long, budget 127 to 150 million, worldwide box office 741.8. Pretty fucking good. Nice spread. In terms of the cast, Monica Bellucci plays Farrah Simone, the wife of the Merivian or whatever that Lambert Wilson plays. The architect is played by Helmut Bacatitas. Link is played by Harold Perrineau from HBO's Oz. Of course, Gloria Foster is the Oracle. Randall Duck Kim is the keymaker. And Nathaniel Leese is Captain Mafoon. Neil and Adrian Raymond play the weirdo fucking bizarro, powered twins. And then besides that, really the only standouts are Gina Torres as Kaz, Roy Jones Jr. You see right in the intro as Captain Ballard. He only has like two lines in the whole film. And then Ian Bliss plays Bane, the character that gets infected by Smith, like over on the Zion rebel side, right? So just to lay that out real quick, going back to the actual film, in Zion, Morpheus announces the news of the advancing machines. The Nebuchadnezzar leaves Zion and enters the Matrix, where Neo meets the Oracle's bodyguard, Seraph, who leads him to her. Now, I'll stop there and just mention that off my actual loose notes, I just want to, bring up, for attention, the opening again with Trinity, just like the first Matrix film, where she opens right up with like a fight scene and she comes in with the motorcycle and all that. And we get that dream sequence, right? That Neo has, that kind of like, that sort of, it's something that bothers him throughout the whole film, sort of, and basically, we see a really awesome scene where I really love how it visually looks of her jumping out of that window and like shooting her guns like backwards at the agents and fighting in the air and shit. It looks awesome. I love how that's shot. Basically, the only thing I wanted to mention was just that, yes, Link, who is the operator now of the Nebuchadnezzar, Morpheus' ship, is from HBO's Oz. I think he was also on I can't remember the name of the damn TV series. But when Smith shows up at the door, and gives the the guy the gift for Neo of the earpiece or whatever, whatnot. I really like that. And Neo going to the old apartment where he first met the Oracle, right? After he takes off and flies from the agents and all that and whatnot, because now he flies in the film and all that shit, right? Which is pretty dope. Going to Zion was pretty cool. I thought that was all right. I thought that was dope. It looked pretty cool. That fucking kid is irritating as fuck. That like worships Neo, wants to like give him a blowjob and shit and all that from jump when they get to Zion. Like, let me carry your bags, Neo, or whatever the fuck. I can't stand that dude. That fucking kid. Seriously. He's actually not an addition to the movie at all. We get to see that like cool looking power armor, lift armor shit they use, right? We get to check that out and whatnot. That's pretty cool. I like that. and basically we get the whole deal where we see the tension between Locke and Morpheus because they both were banging Jada Pinkett Smith's character, right? So that there's that whole deal, right? Throughout the film too, where they have this tension or whatever. They don't like each other because of her or some shit. And because Morpheus is kind of a wild card, or it believes in like the prophecy and all that, and Locke is more of like a hard liner, right? They're only able to leave and go to the Matrix and the Nebuchadnezzar because the councilman, I think his name is Hammond, is the one that gives them clearance. He's the one that likes Neo and talks to him and all that shit, right? And sort of sides with Morpheus and all that. There's some pillowing. Pillowing, Zachary, of course, if you ever have not seen Shogun, is another word for sex scenes. Neo and Trinity get it on, right? Holes and all. Link has a woman too. We meet her, Z. The characters have wonderful names. Some of them almost seem inspired, as if they took like a Scrabble bag and threw it up against a wall, and just wherever the fuck fell out, like that's the name for the character. Something like Z and shit and whatnot. That's kind of what I thought to myself during the movie. Z is afraid that Link is going to be killed because of how crazy Morpheus is, and because her brothers were Tank and Dozer that died in the first Matrix film. So I'll stop there before we get into the next part of the film where we have the awesome cave rave party and all that shit. Since it's your first show with us, Zach, I'll let you start. Going up to, sir, the cave party fucking deal, right? And whatnot, everything after Morpheus does this whole Oscar contender speech and shit and whatnot, to all the people in Zion. Up to that point from the intro, whatever, drop, whatever thoughts you have.
Well, I will say is that kid was very fucking annoying. I mean, like you said, he was just probably just trying to get on Neo's good side. But like, when they visit Zion and stuff, like Neo and Morpheus, they form a crew to return to the Zion, and Zion is introduced to like the human city, and they build like a resistance against the machines, and like Neo like hails like this saviors to people of Zion, and like they just help the people of like Zion and just try to figure out like how to take over the machines that are controlling the people of Zion. And it's a big part of the story. And then like I forget what actually kind of happens, but I know Neo awakens because he's like concerned about the reoccurring dream that he's having for all these things that he's seeing. It's kind of like the movie Inception, but like Matrix Reloaded type shit, where he's just trying to figure out, okay, there's a bunch of people I gotta help out first in Zion, and then go to the Keymaker, and then go to the archaeologist and shit. And Captain Locke, he's skeptical this whole fucking time, which fucking pisses me off. And he doesn't believe in the prophecy or the and the Agnes. He always thinks that the offenses that what they do is like offensive actions, which means like they're not doing it in the right mindset, and they're probably just gonna fuck up things later in life and probably make things worse for the Matrix and just fuck up things. Like in the first film, he had to choose which pill to take, and it all started from that.
Wow, that was impressive. I'm gonna give you 67,000 points on that one, brother, because that was fucking all over the place contribution. That we love that shit here. Like that was great. Like you were all over the spectrum. You even managed to finish it off with somehow ending up with going to the fucking red and blue pill for the Matrix and shit and whatnot, right? Cyber, that's pretty dope, right? Like seriously, I was impressed.
I always pop like I always like I pop from one thing to another thing, and I always try to like try to like sum up my point with something.
Did you study the Andres the Pop Culture Guy 60-minute man fucking guidebook or some shit?
No,
Possibly? No? Oh,
not
okay.
really.
All right. Well, I'll go to you next, Cyber, just because tonight, this Wednesday evening, folks, on 5/29/24, I Like You More than Andres the Pop Culture Guy channel presents. So, same to you, sir. As we say in Coming to America, fuck you too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cyber, you know what? No, go ahead, sir. You go ahead and go ahead and drop
to play the trailer.
Yeah. You go ahead, and then Andres will go, and I'll play the trailer. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, so the beginning of this film is pretty solid. We get that interesting kind of premonition that or dream that Neo's having about Trinity, fighting that agent and getting shot, which is very similar, like you said, to the first film. We have that same type of deal. And, we go to current times in present day, in the real world, as they like to call it. And, they make their way back to Zion. We have that interesting little meeting that they go to before they get back to Zion with all the other people in the Matrix to, basically get themselves ready for the robot attack, basically. And we get introduced to Niobe, who is played by Jada Pinkett Smith, as usual. Really young looking Jada Pinkett Smith, too, as well. When she did this, she was, I believe, 31 when she filmed this. So she was pretty young at the time. But anyways, we get introduced to a few other people briefly that we see intermittently throughout the film. And they, of course, that's when we get the great little reintroduction to Agent Smith popping up and him giving his earpiece to Neo for setting him free. And Neo, of course, does his flying thing right off the bat at the beginning of this film. We get to see him flying around and stuff like that, and which was fun. And basically they end up going back to Zion, and we have very sexual intense moments between Trinity and Neo. Them trying to get back to the lair to fuck, basically. And of course we have that young kid that comes along and butts in, and who everyone finds annoying for some reason, which I didn't find him annoying. He kind of made me think of Mouse from the first film. He's just he's just that little kid or little guy around that like likes to tag along. So I didn't find him annoying. I found him actually kind of funny. Especially right at the beginning, him coming right out of the bat, and you could definitely tell that Link himself, you can see that that's what Neo and Trinity are trying to do, is get some alone time. And even Link noticed this. We have that little great scene there where Morpheus and Link have that brief discussion, where Morpheus says, "I need you to trust me," and I think that was a really great telling, of how Morpheus definitely has his own path that he's trying to follow, and others aren't allowing him and trying to mess with that path that he's trying to follow. And so him giving Link kind of that little speech there is kind of a pre-indicator, I feel, to the rest, through the rest of the films here, to, kind of that I need to make sure you're going to help me out when I need you to help me out, basically, is kind of what he was doing. And, Link, says, yes, of course, I trust you. And of course I do, So you can definitely tell that he was trying to make sure that Link was the right person to be this other person on the crew. Because, they, of course, talk about Dozer briefly in this sequence here when he goes back to his house to find his girl. And, his girl, of course, happens to be Dozer's sister, and of course, Tank's sister, which I don't recall them mentioning Tank in this particular sequence, like what happened to him. But definitely something happened to Tank. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while, but I do recall them not mentioning him throughout this film. But anyways, so we get that kind of little brief moment. That's when we got to see Gina Torres for a split second, who is a fantastic actress. And of course, we get kind of that preceding to going to that giant speech with Morpheus. Do you want me to go into the speech or stop at the speech, Jeff?
Stop at the speech.
Okay. So leading up to that, there's kind of those great kind of little, tidbits we get, introduced to, Morpheus's rival, who happens to be dating his ex-woman that he was with, Niobe, and Brock. What's his name again? Brock?
Block.
Thank you.
Lock with an L. Lock. Yeah.
Locke, and we get that kind of interesting scene where he's like yelling at Morpheus a little bit there, and you're just kind of like, dude, we're in a salvation mode here. Yeah, I get that you're trying to keep things together, but yelling at me is not helping the situation here. And I just love how Morpheus is very calm and collective as he's talking still to him, and I love that. And I think Lawrence Fishburne did such a great job with Morpheus and is such a great actor. And he just really brought Morpheus to life. And I love every dialogue he gave throughout this whole entire film. But even in that little sequence there, I think he does a really great job. And then, of course, we have that little brief convo with Neo and that older gentleman, which I forget what his name is. He's like one of the chair members or something like that.
He's Counselor Hammond.
Okay. Counselor Hammond. That sequence is really well done too, when he's talking to Neo about how these machines help us, and yet we're fighting machines that are trying to kill us, And I think that was a great metaphor right there that did really well as well in that scene, right at the beginning of the film, to kind of get you to thinking, oh, how's this going to play out in the end? And, as we get through the film and as we go into, further down the road, we'll see how that does apply, because it was really wise and great words. But yeah, leading up to that, to Morpheus's fantastic speech, really great start to the film, really fun. And I like the introduction to everyone that they introduced.
Most definitely. I like introducing this new Olympic event that's being added to the Olympics, for new guests like Zach to be able to take in, you can't, nobody can say that we don't ever cover the news or what's going on, the Olympics or whatever. Here we are, folks, we're contributing and, pitching in. There you go, Zach. That's a new Olympic event, that's coming out, whatever the fuck the Olympics is. It's unnamed right now. They don't have a name for it. It's untitled. Oh, Zach, did you not? Were you not?
I'm here.
Were you not a fan of the new Olympic event?
Not really.
Oh, okay. You all right? You know what? Okay, you're not really down with it. Okay, well, it's new. They're trying it out. So nothing's 100% at first.
Just like me, I took all these notes and I put them all in bullet points, and I know I'm going to be hopping around all over the place. So y'all are going to be like, this guy doesn't know anything.
Well, you can.
If we were talking about South Park, I would know my shit. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there's no South Park in the Matrix Unloaded, sir. But
honestly, that's what it's missing for me.
Well, I know what Andre the Pop Culture guy is missing.
端からまでね、膝生地を回すこと以外にほぼデータがなかったんですが、ただもんじゃないですね。結構ね、ルイズ・プリモ選手の情報って意外と少ないですよね。少ないんですよ。SNS でね、膝生地を回しながら戦う姿の動画がですね、めちゃくちゃバズったんですが、そのバズった以上の情報が入ってこないんですよね。そうなんです。今度はピザ。
Cyber, how did he manage to trick that dude with the dough like that and get him to catch it, and then so he can kick him in the face like
that? The magic of pizza dough, sir. The magic of pizza. The guy was thinking he was going to make him a pizza, so that's how he tricked him.
That was a good setup for that kick, bro. I'm telling you, he fucked him up after that. So, you know, every time I see that pass in the dough, I'm like, yo, bro, good move. Anyways, you know, yes, folks, I am going to play the Matrix trailer, I promise. Not, yes, Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. Please. I apologize that I forgot about you there for a minute and whatnot on that question. Jump right in there, sir, and get your contribution in and whatnot before so we can move on farther into the movie.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I agree with the panelists here that the beginning was well done. It's actually my favorite part of the movie. Well, you know, we'll get to my favorite part of the movie soon. It's great they reintroduced the characters here that we all love from the first film. You know, Nero, Morbius, and you know Trini. They're all great. I love those actors. You know, and yeah, I think this section is really fun. And in terms of new characters, I actually really like Link. Link is my favorite character. Remember the time when I saw him in the second film. I was like, okay, he replacing Tank from the original film, and I thought Link was great. I mean, I totally forgot that that's the actor from Oz and Lost. You know, he's a very terrific.
Yeah, he was on Lost too. Yep.
Yeah, and so I thought he was a great addition to the cast. So I really liked him from the new cast. Yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith as the former love interest. She's good. I don't mind her. I think what she got here in this movie was really good. And yeah, and then the other soldiers, like the one actor from Man of Steel, who was General Swanson. He was really good. I like him. The other guy that I remember from the Dead Zone of all places, the David Cronenberg film. He was really good as well. But yeah. So overall, the new characters I don't mind. I think Link is my favorite. And yeah, and the kid. I mean, I do agree with Cyber. You know, just like Mouse. You know, he's just a little too excited. But you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, he's a kid, so whatever. But I don't particularly like him either. But same time, he's not like he's not Jabba or like he's not Jar Jar Binks. So at least he has not that going on. So that's good. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this beginning. It's fun. I mean, first off, the Trinity beginning was so awesome. I mean, when she threw the motorcycle into that building, that small building, and explode big, it was spectacular. And so yeah, I enjoyed this. We'll get into my other favorite parts of the film, but overall, I think a good beginning.
I mean, the Matrix was like her landmark role, character. Like, I mean, other than that, I mean, honestly, and then the acting that she did off of the Matrix films, right? Those roles, that she got off the Matrix films. Other than that, she never did shit really. She was never really in anything significant, really. I mean, she's in the Acolyte, right? But she was nobody until the Matrix, right? And it was really her, kind of her shine. When she really stood out. But I just want to point out that Z was originally played by Aaliyah. I didn't know this until just now. That died, of course, in the plane crash on August 25th, 2001, before filming was complete, requiring her scenes to be reshot with Nona Gay. Jet Li was offered the role of Seraph, but turned it down, as he did not want his martial arts moves digitally recorded. Whatever the fuck that means.
I mean, I think replaced by the CGI figure that we see sometimes in the film. So I understand where he's coming from.
I think it means when they digitally enhance something, they use green screens and probably stunt doubles, and they take over all the acting for you. But I mean, that's what they're there for,
Definitely, most definitely. That just Morpheus is down and he's there to do his fucking Oscar, contending speech and shit and whatnot and everything. In the cave, like, scene or whatever of the movie, right? Very interesting scene. He's got to like, he's got to like, like inspire the people of Zion and whatnot when the Sentinels are like, whatever, like less than 72 hours away from attacking Zion or whatever, right? And like destroying them and shit. So I just wanted to mention when we see Neo fight Seraph, he says some really funny, stupid Jean-Claude Van Damme type shit, like from fucking like Bloodsport, like Young Frank type shit. Like he's like, Neo asked him a question. He's like, "Why did we have to fight or whatever, whatnot, and everything?" And he says some shit like, "The only way you can really get to know someone is to fight them," or some shit or whatever. It's fucking hilarious. I loved it. There's some good scenes in this movie. But anyways, after the Morpheus speech, that whole cave scene and shit, right? For one thing, it was Fraggle Rock looking, right? The cave shit, right, was really Fraggle Rock looking to me. I was seeing some Fraggle Rock shit going on out of the cave shit, which was interesting, right? And a lot of shit went down. They had the tense drums for one thing, right? That shit was crazy. It was like a rave, right? And Neo is like, everyone's here. So Trinity says, "Follow me," and then they go and bang on some rock. Or whatever. No, they find some men, right? And so now we're like the full-blown rave part of the fucking cave party or whatever, ceremony or whatever the fuck it is. The Neo Trinity sex scene gets to like Skinemax level, like sex scene, right? Almost, like Skinemax level. Like at that point, at the cave party, people are like legit humping and shit while they're dancing and shit like that and whatnot. If you notice, it's fucking crazy. It's like Caligula or some shit is going on. Shit savage, right? The one dude sweating and shit. He like sweats all over. Lot going on in the cave scene, right? There's also something in my notes about how bangable Carrie-Anne Moss was in 2003. Gotta love it, baby. Gotta love it. True knowledge reveal is the secrets of my notes for the movie. Going back to the actual wiki summary of the film. Essentially, what we left off was after seeing the Oracle, and the Oracle revealing that Neo is a part of the Matrix, and instructed Neo to reach its source with the help of the Keymaker, right? A very pivotal character in the movie. The Oracle departs, and Smith appears, telling Neo that after being defeated by him, he became a rogue program, right? Which it gave him purpose or whatever. He demonstrates his ability to clone himself over other inhabitants of the Matrix, including the new upgraded agents. He tries to take over and infect Neo's body, but fails. It won't work. And then they have a massive fight or battle scene between Neo and many copies of the Smiths, right? And Neo defends himself, but is forced to retreat. So Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity visit the Merovingian, okay, who is imprisoning the Keymaker. And the Merovingian is a rogue program with his own agenda, right? And refuses to let the Keymaker go. Well, this chick, his wife, however you pronounce her name, Fair Fezimode, or however, per Fezimode, sounds like it would be coming from one of the Amazonian island names from Wonder Woman, seeking revenge on her husband. So in another really classic writing, really profound scene in the movie, seeking revenge on her husband for his infidelity, she leads the trio to the Keymaker, but she makes a deal with Neo or some shit where she's like, "You gotta kiss me like you kissed her," or whatever, to get the Keymaker or some shit or whatever. So we had all that going on, right? And so there's a big kiss scene, real deep, and basically right after she takes it to the Keymaker, Morpheus, Trinity, and the Keymaker end up having to flee because they're pursued by the Merovingians' men. Neo holds them off and kind of hangs out, stays back and fights like a whole gaggle of the henchmen. And it's a pretty good solid fight scene. And then Morpheus and Trinity are mobile, trying to kind of move the Keymaster to like a spot where they can actually connect with Link to be able to or either get away or or get where they got to go with the keys or get connected with Link to get the fuck out of there, right? And they're not capable of doing that where they're at. So that's when we see the twins really get into play. And basically their powers that they have are like sort of like visions, where they have the ability to basically miss themselves to where they lose their tangibility, right? And bullets just go right through them and whatnot. They can go through walls. They go into Spectre mode, like a ghost almost, where they can transfer through matter and shit like that and whatnot, vape in and out of solid solidity. That's their power, basically. And they have invulnerability too, right? Because they get shot and blown up and shit, whatnot, everything, and they survive. So it doesn't seem like they're killed easily. I thought they were really good villains, really good characters. But so going back to where we're at in the film, we're still having the separation where Neo is fighting the henchmen of the Merovingians or whatever. And we've got Trinity and Neo and Morpheus have separated with the Keymaker. There's a long chase and Trinity escapes. Morpheus defeats the twins, and Neo saves Morpheus and the Keymaker from Agent Johnson. And I have the clip of this. I have the video clip. Great chase scene, literally, obviously you guys have a chance to talk about it. One of probably the core action scenes of the film, if not the core action scene of the film, is the chase scene. Where when basically Neo finishes up with those henchmen, he finds out that where he's at geographically is way the fuck out there. Trinity and Morpheus with the Keymaker are pursued by agents and by the twins through this whole long car chase montage fight scene type deal. At that point, the crews of the Nebuchadnezzar, Vigilant, and Logos help the Keymaker and Neo reach the source. And basically, they come up with a plan that the Logos crew has to destroy this power plant, and the Vigilant crew must disable a backup power station to bypass the security system, which will allow Neo to enter the source. Haunted by the vision of Trinity's death, he does ask Trinity to remain out of the Matrix, out of the Nebuchadnezzar, which she agrees to. So I'll stop there before the mission actually starts, right? And then we'll stop there. Before I go over to you, Under this Pop Culture Guy first, let me play some more Matrix. Oh man, that got me really jacked up, dude. I'm telling you. I'm all stoked and whatnot off that. That was a really good scene. Anyways, so Andres, I believe I said I would go to you first, sir. You remember the part of the film that I stopped at, and that was basically right before they actually launched the mission, right? That's supposed to lead to ultimately Neo being able to get to the source, right? So up to that point, sir.
Okay. So this is my favorite section of the part. I mean, we were just talking briefly here about the 5-car RV. Still awesome. The action scenes here are really amazing. As you guys saw, the chase sequence in the highway is still fantastic. I still love it. Still today. I mean, those twins that reminded me of ghosts. Facing through the objects or whatnot. Very cool addition to the trilogy, and I thought they were very great foes for Morpheus and Trinity to fight. And I thought the special effects looked really good on them because they look very creepy and ghosty. And I like how they're not like white ghosts; they're like green, like the Matrix. So it's kind of cool design they did with them. So I really appreciate that. The key maker. If you guys haven't seen our review on John Wick, he's actually the doctor that helps John Wick from chapter 1 and chapter 3 to fix the wounds. Great actor. He's really great as the key maker. I think he really really delivers a really very how you say it, like subdued performance, but in such a good way. Like he's very calm, he's very intellectual, and the the making the keys is very unique. I really like his character, and I thought when the twins are there, he runs so quickly to get out of there, and it's really great. And the thing I like about this part of the sequence is the idea of like how the Matrix is this like virtual system or whatever you want to call it. I like how we're opening doors to like locations, like that was a really cool concept that they brought
Oh
up.
yeah, they added to the film, not the whole concept of adding in the keys and like
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through the back doors through those doors. Yep.
yeah. And I remember that so firmly. My multiple times watching this movie, I was like, that is such a cool idea, and I think that was the one new thing that I really like about the sequel that they brought up that was really successful, and I thought they did a good job of executing that right. And yeah, and we were talking in the chat, and I'm sorry not reading the chat, but like there was good points here, like seeing Trinity and Morpheus like together as a team, because we didn't like we see them together, but it's mostly like talking scenes. It's great to see them in action, and then seeing Lawrence Fishburne having a gun and then a sword, which is really cool
Yeah.
because it's very anime like, and so that was really neat. I guess the one nitpick is well, not nitpick, but the French guy they had to meet, so over top, very campy. I was very happy that the wife did betray him to because he apparently cheat on her in the system of the Matrix. That's funny. So yeah, he deserved that. I was shocked that he didn't get killed, but I mean whatever. But yeah, so overall love the sequence here, very fantastic, top notch action. They do not like, I think the action for me, just my opinion, I think the action here was much better than the first film. I think this sequel's action is much better than the first film, and I just really enjoy it.
No, that really, really well done, Andre. It's a good contribution. There's a really good scene, really good dialogue. In that action scene where one of the agents says to the keymaker or something like, "Now you're just going to be deleted," or some shit like that, or whatever. It's fucking hilarious. Cyberneticshark, sir. Your thoughts, sir, on that passage, of the film.
So we're going from Morpheus speech to where?
To the plan. The actual activation of the plan.
Activation of the plan.
The plan to, where all the two crews, all three crews from the ships are going to, coalesce, to be able to back Neo so he can get to the source.
Okay. All right. So Morpheus' speech is fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Love it. I think it's very powerful. Once again, proving Lawrence Fishburne being an amazing actor. He really knows his stuff. He really is always been I think a great actor that is just able to do all kinds of different things. And that scene was just really powerful and awesome. We finally get, Neo and Trinity getting it on. And of course, as you said, you said Skinemax level, and that was not Skinemax levels because A, there was no tits. B, you could barely see either of their asses. 3, you really couldn't see any stomach, really. Just it was more of their faces. You got
Yeah.
more Cinemax level in the actual in Zion's mainframe there, where they're all dancing. There were women wearing see-through shirts. You could see their nipples and stuff like that. So that definitely was a little more Cinemax level. But overall, that I would say that was a very okay sex sequence. The music was really good in that sequence. All the dancing was really fun, and it was a very interesting little scene that they decided to add to this film, which I think was very enjoyable, even though it wasn't Skinamax level. Eventually him going to see the Oracle, Neo. Of course, we get the late great actress there that played the Oracle. She was fantastic. This was her final film role. She actually ended up dying. That's why we got a different one later on. And she did a really great job. I liked how we finally figured out that she was a program, a part of the Matrix and all that kind of stuff. It's like the one gentleman who was like the kind of the gatekeeper for her that Neo has to fight to make sure, as you had mentioned earlier, I find it if I fight somebody, I know them better. So that was, awesome.
That was some serious, like, fucking OK USA, Oscar contending talk, writing around on that one.
Okay, you think. And so that scene's really fun. And then, of course, that's when Agent Smith pops back up. We get that really crazy ass fight sequence, which uses a lot of CGI, which I remember a lot of people complaining about the CGI, like I said, in that. And that's why this movie got a lot of slack, is because that CGI was very cartoonish looking. And how they intermixed it with the live action, it just didn't flow very well. So I can understand that, and it did it. It just like it went from kind of like being live action to all of a sudden scrolling into that like CGI look work, and it just didn't work very well for it because it just was too cartoonish. Like I was saying, it looked a lot like how the animation in the first Harry Potter, second Harry Potter looked. And so unfortunately that CGI at the time was still growing in its authenticity of the CGI work. Whereas if they made this today and had the budget like they did, and the actors at the time were still that age and all that stuff, I definitely feel we would see that whole sequence farly superior better if it was made today. But of course, this got made in 2003, so the CGI wasn't quite there yet, as it did a few years later, as we started seeing in further projects. But at the same time, I think that its cartoonish lookness is kind of what made it look so different than the first film, making it seem more colorful versus how dark the first film was. So that sequence is interesting. I love, Hugo Weaving. He's fantastic. I've always thought he was a great actor, from, his portrayal of Elrond in the original trilogy of the Lord of the Rings to V for Vendetta, so forth. He's always been a really great actor, and he was amazing as Agent Smith. I absolutely thought he was like one of my favorite characters in the Matrix trilogy. And so after he gets away from that, we have as the movie progresses, we get some interesting introduction to new characters, the Merovinci, his gang, the Merovinci's wife, who is played by the gorgeous and amazing Monica Bellucci. Oh my God. Oh, that dress she wears in that sequence. I could watch that for hours.
Yeah, she's smoking hot.
And that woman is 64 now. So at this time when she made this, she was, already, 43 years old. So she was, looking like she was, 23 at the time. So, I mean, she is an amazing actress who has been a ton of things over the years, and I absolutely love her. She's like one of my favorite actresses. And so when she popped up in it, I was like blown away by that, because I was like, no way. And so she was just so fun to watch. And then her asking Neo for that kiss was just like so awesome. I was like so into it. And I was just like, oh, please, more passionate Neo. And so I was like, the look on Trinity's face too in that sequence was super hilarious. But the guy that plays the architect or the Mayor of Vinci, sorry, that's architect, the Mayor of Vinci, he is interesting, Lambert Wilson, and I really enjoyed the character he put on as the Mayor of Vinci and how he was such like an asshole and dick, and like exactly what a program would be, programmed to be like, and be as realistic as a real dude and his wife in real life that he cheats on all the time. And he played that character off really well. His accent was really great. And some of the sequence there, he's just like, it was just hilarious and fun. And I thought he did a really good job. But then getting introduced to the Keymaker, played by Randall Duck Kim, I absolutely love this dude. He is so awesome. I think he's a great character actor. He always plays really cool characters. I loved him as the Keymaker. And every time I think of the Keymaker, all I can think of is the freaking Keymaster from Ghostbusters. It makes me think of that. But at the same time, it's like Randall does such a great job of playing this character that you are just absolutely you automatically become infatuated with him because he's just such a great character and he's so fun. And I just really enjoyed his character in the film. And rewatching it last night, I forgot about him. I actually had forgotten a lot of this movie because it'd been such a long time since the last time I saw it. And it just reinvigorated how much I enjoyed the film and how much I enjoyed his performance. And so seeing him kind of do his work and creating the keys and make his way through different places throughout this area in the Matrix was really cool. But then that fight sequence with the Mayor of Vinci's guys and Neo was pretty interesting. Especially those twin guys, as Andres has mentioned, how they looked like the Matrix colors and stuff like that, because when they went invisible or translucent, they became like that green aura kind of look, almost like a ghost. And those two twin guys did a pretty good job. I enjoyed them. I thought they were a fun little snippet in the Matrix trilogy, played by Neil and Adrian Raymond. I don't think I've ever seen them in anything else. I think this is the only movies they've been in. But they did a good job. I liked them as those characters. They actually kind of looked a lot like Luke Goss, who was in several films in the early 2000s. He was in a couple of the Death Race sequels. He was in The Man with Samuel L. Jackson and Eugene Levy. He played the main bad guy in Hellboy 2. And he was a really great character, but they kind of looked like him a little bit in that makeup and everything. So I think that was kind of funny because when I was rewatching it last night, I was like, "Is that Luke Goss and his twin brother?" I'm like, and then I looked up their names, like, "Oh no, it's not him." But anyways, great fight sequence through that. I mean, that scene was really done well. All that arrow bat stuff and all the weapons they used and all that kind of stuff was really cool. And Neo taking them all out. And of course, the Mayor of Vinci being like, "Yes, you would take them all out. I'm sick of this predecessor shit," and stuff like that. And how he does that was super funny. And that was kind of like the first time you understand that, like, you heard him say predecessors, and you're like, there's been more than one Neo. Like, what? Like, this is interesting. This pulls me in. So I think that was a really great line that really pulls you in too. So really great. And of course, then basically the pretty much everyone kind of disappears, and then Neo has to make his way back to them, and that was really cool. And that's when we get that action sequence with Morpheus and Trinity going to bat. We have them, basically having a fight on top of the semis and stuff like that was really cool. The CGI work and that was really done well. And the fight work there was really done well. I thought the choreography was done really well.
Oh yeah, good point. The fight choreography really shines during that.
Yeah. And I think that it's a really fun sequence. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that's when Neo comes to save the day. And we see all the shit he's pulling with how fast he's going and shit, which was really awesome. And that he ends up saving Morpheus and the Keymaker and pulls him out. And once again, another CGI sequence with CGI Neo, CGI Morpheus, CGI Keymaster, and just the CGI there was just kind of, when it turned into that, it was kind of very cartoonish, but not horrible, not bad, but still very cartoonish. But that all leading to them coming up with a plan of what to do to basically try to stop the machines from reaching Zion, them all teaming up together and stuff like that. I thought was a really great sequence. Lots of great characters introduced. Really well done. Something I wanted to bring up that I thought was kind of a cool little tidbit. Did anybody know that the character of Z, who is Link's girlfriend in the film, was originally played by Aaliyah?
Yeah,
singer.
Cyber,
Yeah.
I already read all that.
No, you fucking didn't.
Yes, I did. I already read it.
What about Jet Li?
I already said it.
No, you fucking didn't.
Do you listen to
Yes,
me when I...
yes, he did. He literally said that the actress that played her in the original film died
Andres,
in a plane crash.
Andres,
You just weren't listening.
do you think Cyber doesn't even listen to some of my monologues sometimes? I think he does.
No, I don't.
Don't.
Nope.
I don't want to be a part of this. Leave me out of this.
Yeah, Cyber. I already introduced all the actors.
Anyways, I don't fucking care. I'm re-bringing it up because I think it's a fucking great point. So
Yeah, but what's the point of? But I'm the moderator, so it was my job to do all that, so I did it.
No, yeah, but people can bring shit up too, sir. So don't give me that
Okay.
shit.
It makes no sense to double it
Mr.
down,
2
though.
hours sleep. Yeah, I can double down on the shit. I'm co-host, motherfucker.
I don't do that to you.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I don't repeat the same shit over. No, I don't do that.
You guys are hilarious. But anyways, I thought that was a cool little tidbit that I didn't hear. Anyways, moving on. I'm done.
I was kind of shocked she died. I didn't know they recast it. That was like a big surprise to me. Very sad that she died. So, very shocked about that.
Who, Aaliyah?
She died in 2001, sir.
Yeah, I was about to say this happened yesterday.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, it's sad to hear, see, previous actors that passed away a long time ago, and it's like they cut short. I mean,
she did. Yeah, well, no, she was great. I loved Aaliyah. Her music was great. But let's go over to Zach and get it on the Matrix conversation. Zach, wrap up on this question, sir. We're going all the way up to the actual activation of the plan. To essentially, set Neo up to get into the source.
Well, like everybody said, that highway chase scene, like when you showed us the trailer, when I didn't really see the trailer because like I wasn't born into that or like wasn't like around like when this movie was out, but like when I watched this movie for the first time, I was like, okay, wow. The way that this movie has aged is like really bad, and the trailer looks really bad, but like I gotta remember that this is way back in like 2000 when they didn't have all the money and the budgets that like Hollywood movies and TV shows have nowadays. Like they have enough money to blow up cars and to like make it look so realistic, even though it's not realistic at all. But like getting back to the point, there are some like brilliant actors and actresses in this film. Like you guys said, Link. I didn't know who that was, but like as I did more research into Harold Perrineau, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's in one of my favorite TV shows, and I didn't realize that because of how young he looked in the film. Like as you guys stated, if they all were the same age nowadays, like now, if the Matrix 2 came out now, oh my God, it would be box office. It would be Oscar season, it would win all these fucking awards for everything, like CGI, cinematography, and I hear they're adding a stunt category. So, like you guys were mentioning that fight scene in the car where he's just dodging all those bullets. Man, if they had that stunt category, they would have probably won for that category because the stunts in this film are fucking insane, and like how they pull it off is like. Again, insane. That's like what the word of the day is for me. But as you guys were saying, Agent Smith, he's basically it was like there's a rogue program and now you can clone yourself, and Smith confronts Neo and showcasing his new ability and replicating himself, and he's just a fucking beast. And as we saw in the car scene where he was trying to stop the twins from taking the Keymaker, we saw that Neo duplicated himself to help the Keymaker escape from the twins, even though they can phase through objects like the freaking ghost. But the Keymaker, Neo and Morpheus and Trinity, they seek out the Marie Lambert. I'm just gonna call him Lambert because I can't pronounce any freaking name in this. Like Lambert Wilson. Shoot, where was that? And he refuses to help with the Philosopher's Stone because his wife betrayed him, leading them to the Keymaker. So his wife basically gave up them the location of the Keymaker. And then now we're on to the highway chase scene, which we all said that was intense, probably one of the best highway chase scenes in 2003. I don't think I'm mistaken. This movie didn't win much. Did it win anything in like Oscar wise, Jeff?
You know what? Honestly, I'll look it up real quickly with that everything. I'm glad you mentioned it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else in the panel, if Cyber might already know, or Andres maybe might already know about it. But I don't believe that the Matrix film, that the Matrix Reloaded film, was nominated for any Oscars or Academy Awards. But I'll look right now.
Okay, because I'm always interested to see if like old films like that like got any recognition. Like I know Keanu did a fantastic. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Zach. Yeah, the first one got was nominated for Oscars. The sequels didn't. But the third one got a couple, but not really good awards. But we're not there yet. So, but that's all.
I'm jumping ahead of myself like I always do. Anyways, then Morpheus battles the agents on the moving trucks when they get closer. We kept playing that scene that Jeff was showing us earlier. The scene would continue, and then Morpheus would show up and then get right where the twin is in the car shooting at the one guy. And Trinity and Keymaker, they escape on motorcycles and they pursue the twins and the henchman that sent the twins after after Neo and the Keymaker, just so they can do what they want. And the chase scene ends with Morpheus and the Keymaker successfully evading capture. So everybody basically wins, except the twins in this case. But realistically, that highway chase scene was like the best. It like gives you that boost of adrenaline. It's like that bomb dropping in a Oppenheimer. It's like the climax of the film. Like there's more and there's more excitement coming, but then that there's gonna be there's gonna be some bullshit coming on too.
Are you done, sir?
Yeah, I think I'm done. Unless if there was more that I could break down.
No, sir, you're good, man. You don't have.
I didn't want to go too far because, I know, we ended at that car chase scene, and I don't know if you want me to dive into the Artex yet, but
no, that's where we're gonna go right now. We're pretty far into the film. The movie didn't get nominated for anything significant. It really didn't. It got nominated for stuff like the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films USA type awards or whatever. BET awards. Lawrence Fishburne won a BET award. There you go. No, we're pretty far down into the film in terms of where the film summary's at. We don't have that much farther to go. We're at the point where they're actually activating the plan to basically the three ships and their crews have to complete their missions to be able to free Neo up to be able to access the source, using the Keymaker. So, basically, I laid out the plan. Well, the Logos, crew from their ship is successful with the first part of the plan, but the Vigilant is destroyed by Sentinels, that penetrate their ship while they're, in the Matrix. So they're killed and they're lost while they're, wrapping up their step of the plan. So Trinity's like, fuck all that, right? And like tells Link, like, send me in or whatever, coach, right? And replaces the Vigilant crew and completes their mission, like doing the hacking or whatever they had to do of the power grid. Agent Thompson corners her and they fight. So I like that. I like seeing her fight the agents. And of course, this is where we wrap back and sort of roll back to the beginning of the film, right? And what Neo's already dreamt and what the Oracle's already basically told him is reality, is what he's going to have to face. We're basically seeing it laid out right there. And so, again, Trinity at that point is taking out an agent, right? And at that point, basically, the Smiths show up right as Neo, Morpheus, and the Keymaker hit, reach one of those corridors with the doors to reach the source. There's Smith. So, we have another scene where there's like the Smiths ambushing, basically, or swallowing up Morpheus and Neo, and they're having to fight them off hand to hand while defending the Keymaker. They get away and like break away, through a door. But the Keymaker, I'm not sure if he gets shot or like takes a random bullet at some point or something like that, but he gets killed, right? Basically, and right before dying, he gives Morpheus a key to get back home, but he gives Neo the key to where he's got to go, the golden door or whatever, and then he dies, right? So we unfortunately lose the Keymaker, as excellent as a character as he was, but he has a good death. So basically at that point, Neo takes his key, and we get the classic scene where he walks into the room, and sees all the TV screens and shit, and we're met with the architect, the creator of the Matrix, who explains that as the One, Neo is himself an intentional part of the design of the Matrix, which is now in its 6th iteration. Neo is meant to stop the Matrix's fatal system crash that naturally recurs due to humans' free will, leading to a certain number of humans gradually refusing to accept the simulation. As with the 5 previous ones, Neo has a choice. Either reboot the Matrix from the source and pick a handful of survivors to repopulate the soon-to-be destroyed Zion, as his predecessors all did, or go to save the Imperial Trinity, causing the Matrix to crash and killing everyone in it. Neo chooses the latter, prompting a dismissive response from the architect. So Neo's vision of Trinity comes true as she's shot by Agent Thompson while falling, downwards off that building. Before she hits the ground, Neo arrives and catches her, and then he sort of like heals her or some shit, like with his powers, and removes the bullet from her chest and shit and restarts her heart. Another like, the one moment. So they return to the real world where they're attacked by Sentinels, and they lose the Condenser, right? It's destroyed. And so the crew has to escape, basically on the surface. But they're still being pursued by the Sentinels. I believe it's a Sentinel bomb that takes out the ship. Neo realizes he is able to sense the machines in the real world, and he telepathically destroys them, but falls to a coma from the effort. So from there, I apologize. The crew are picked up by another ship, the Hammer. Its captain reveals that other ships defending Zion were wiped out, like a counterattack or mission that Locke put together, were wiped out by the machines after someone prematurely activated an EMP. That someone, of course, being, the only one survivor that was found, the Smith-possessed maid. So he sabotaged that mission, right? And that's how the movie basically ends. Is like, I believe, if I remember correctly, you guys can, tell me if I'm wrong. Don't they have like a medical bed where on one end you've got the comatose Neo, and then the other end you have Smith in the crew member, and then it goes to curtains, right? So,
Yes.
Again, I'll go to you first, Zach. It's your first show, brother. You get to lead off. Then I'll go to you, Cyber. I'll let you wrap it up, Andres. I know I gave you a big swath there, right? But take your time. We've got lots of it before we drop ratings and final thoughts. We plug out. Go ahead, Zach. Start us off.
So I'm starting us off. Okay, so we were just talking about the Arctics and how Neo enters the building with the building housing source, and the keymaker helps him understand the code and stuff. How you were just saying in the wiki breakdown, and inside Neo meets the archaeologist and the creator of the Matrix, and this is the big like, ooh. This is the creator. Oh my god, we have so many questions. It's like if you met like George Lucas or like you met Steve. I'm trying to think of like all the popular like George Lucas and who's the other guy? Steven Spielberg. You had all these questions like, oh my god, how did you do that? Oh my god. Why did you make him evil? Or why did you make Anakin kill all those fucking kids? Like, you had all these fucking questions for these fucking people, but you finally get to meet the person who created this Matrix and the person that made Neo who Neo is. And that's the guy who holds the red and blue pill. And the Arctics reveal that Neo is a part of this systematic anomaly that is periodically reset. And Neo learns that Zion has been destroyed multiple times, and he's choose either to recycle or cause humanity's extinction. And now we get to Neo's choice. Neo chooses to save Trinity, who's fallen to her death as in his dreams, and he rescues Trinity in the real world after she's critically injured. So ultimately he goes with the Trinity option, whichever the one the Matrix provides. And in the revelation, the crew learns that the machines are digging towards Zion, and Neo discovers he has powers outside of the Matrix, which means he can overpower the creator of the Matrix, which is a big turning point to the third film or to the pre-existing another film that might come soon. Wink, wink, wink. And to a group of like sentinels in the real world, and then Neo collapses and they are picking up another ship. But then we're left on a cliffhanger in the very second film, where the final scene reveals that Bane, a crew member from another ship, has been possessed by Agent Smith, and the film ends on a cliffhanger, setting up events for the final installment of the Matrix 3. So there's a lot.
Zach, I just read that, bro.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just repeating like what like I heard, and like we like I don't know, but I'm just saying like
no, you're good, man. You're good. If you have any thoughts at all with that and everything, around the stuff that went down, in that during all that, anything that stood out to you, we'd love to hear it.
Well, I think I said, like, Agent Smith is a fucking asshole. He'll fuck up anything like you do, and like you just read, and I just read again, because I just like to repeat things like Cyber Shark. Me and Cyber Shark don't listen, apparently. I'm calling us both out.
That's actually something I was wondering myself. Was like, just to kind of give you something to work with. What did you think of the Smiths? Like that whole angle of having him be able to like duplicate and triplicate himself or whatever and whatnot, and then that having like the whole shtick throughout the film, where it was always them having to fight the Smiths, right? Like in Multitude.
Honestly, it got like really confusing whenever they like multiplied and shit. That's in my opinion. Whenever like something like multiplies and they try to change up something, is like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you making it confusing? Why I like but like I do think it was like a fair component to the film because it's all like in the Matrix and you're just like it's all cool and it's like you're not really supposed to be thinking about it. You're just kind of like, okay, you're living in the moment. That's what you're doing. You're living in this film and trying to figure out like why they're doing this and why they're setting up for like failure to Neo, and they want him to just not have a happy life with his with Trinity. And with that scene that we saw in the beginning where he has that passionate kiss with her, and like when she just falls and she dies, and like Neo tries everything to save her life, but the Smith just goes and fucks it all and just tries to like fuck up his life. He's just all over it and it just pisses me off. But Neo somehow figures it all out, Well,
Zach, I saved the chick's life one time, similarly like that, and whatnot. But I actually just like inserted my penis inside of her, right? Yeah. Like instead of reaching into like reactivating her heart, I inserted my penis and it restarted her heart and saved her life.
That's in your opinion. I mean, Neo could have definitely done that, but it could have been just on a different browser that you could have been watching on.
We kid here, sir. We kid.
I know. I can figure that out very quickly.
Another one for you, Zachary. What'd you think of the way that they pulled off the Sentinels and like the look of like the surface world and all that shit, whatnot, kind of like that we get to see and all that, like did you dig it or?
Oh yeah, I loved every cinematography. All this, like the sets was beautiful, like the backgrounds, like all the coding. Like there has got to be some kind of like trove of Reddit followers that like follow this film indefinitely and say, oh, this is from like if you look in the background behind Neo, there's a secret like whatever, what's it called, little Easter egg. That's what they're called, a little Easter egg and stuff. Like there are always people out there like finding Easter eggs to these films after they're like released too. Like people will find Easter eggs and then people will be like, oh yeah, I never realized that. Like you guys were saying about the actress that played the one lady got replaced. I wouldn't have never realized that until you guys said it,
Me too. I didn't know until today. I had no fucking idea.
And it's kind of like interesting to hear like that.
That would have been major too for this film. If Aaliyah had survived and she had been in the movie, she was a really big name. That was when like she was really popping, right? It would have really done a lot for the movie, I think.
I think it would have like probably even got it into the Oscars, like I was mentioning.
No, don't go that. I'm not going that far. I'm just saying it would have brought a big name.
It would just brought more like profit, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
like nowadays they just want to have like Chris Hemsworth or like, and like that person was like Chris Hemsworth or like who's the guy that played?
She died right when she was just breaking out into acting. Right, like literally right at the start. So you know what I'm saying? So like she was just getting out there and like growing her brand. So well look, I'll move over to Cyberneticshark, sir. Your thoughts, sir, and then also I was gonna ask you, Cyber. I'd have to imagine probably without looking it up that the Matrix Part 2, Matrix Reloaded must have taken quite a while to film, right? I would imagine.
So this got started filming in 2001 when Aaliyah died. So they had already shot most of her scenes, and when she died in the plane crash. So yeah, this started getting filmed back in 2001.
Okay.
because
Yeah,
the
no.
special effects took a couple years to do.
No, most definitely. I mean, I imagine probably just that freaking the car chase or action scene deal or whatnot and all that seems like it would take forever.
Yeah. So they started filming this in 2001 because I think it was 2000 when they greenlit doing the sequel. So they knew that it was gonna take a while because they were shooting 2 and 3 back to back. So
Most definitely. That's why they were able to release them so closely. I remember now. So go ahead, sir. What are your thoughts on that final third of the film, I guess, or whatever, whatnot, before we get into ratings and we'll drop our final thoughts of the film.
The latter part of this film is really great too, as well. Like I said, rewatching it really reinvigorated my love for this film, and there was a lot of great scenes. After that great fight choreography with the highway sequence after Neo saves them and stuff like that. We get some really great kind of like montage of them creating the plan with the Keymaster and what to do to be able to get to where Neo needs to get to really get the full information that he needs to. And we have that great montage of like what's going to happen and stuff like that. And we get to see all these different areas that, we hadn't seen previously in the first Matrix film. And how they take that out and everything like that is really cool. And like the precision they have to do and all that kind of stuff to be able to do these things. It was really well constructed, and you get through it, we get to see a lot of great sequences. Like everyone kept mentioning the sequence where, Agent Smith pops up again and he tries to overtake Morpheus, and Neo's able to knock him off and long enough for Morpheus to escape, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that sequence. The killing of the Keymaster really sucked. I was upset by that because I totally forgot that happened. And I was like, such a great actor, and you kill him off. No. And once he officially gets to that door that he has to go through, all the crazy things he has to get through, and he gets in there, and this old dude that's called the Architect, and basically tells him, hey, this is the 6th time you're doing this. You're kind of like, huh? Like literally finding out that this is the 6th time that there's been 5 other Neos before you. I mean, wouldn't you kind of be like, this is weird hearing this? But at the same time, if you watch Neo's face and watch as he's talking with the Architect and stuff like that, his face stays so like bland, so like robotic. And just that right there kind of shows you how different he is than the previous 5 Neos that have been there. And even the Architect himself points out certain little things that you did this differently than the previous 5 and this and that and stuff like that. And he mentions these things. And so it's kind of like, maybe this Neo is officially the one to, stop the Matrix from going over and over again, basically. And, just everything he says, like how the Architect talks and how everything he like says is very like hyperbole or very like sophisticated, how he talks about these things, and just kind of crack it up like does Neo really understand these words or well, because he's more machine than person. I mean, he still is human, but I mean, the machine thinking and quality that he has, does it understand these like?
I think he was pretty intelligent, because remember he was a hacker and all that shit and whatnot and all that, right? Like back before he got unplugged.
Yep.
So no, I think he's actually pretty smart.
So he probably did understand those things. So I just thought it was kind of funny, all the certain words that they have the Architect explain and stuff like that, which I just thought was pretty funny. But at the same time, you're just kind of like thinking, yeah, this is probably what a machine would say or would do, because as a machine would think very sophisticatedly. So I think that was very smart in the writing process for the script. And so, once we have the other Neos in the back, and it's like showing all their reaction stuff was hilarious. Like everyone starts going, fuck you, and stuff like that was absolutely hilarious. I was cracking up. And like some of the Neos you see, they're going like this and stuff, and like that. It's just like super hilarious. And you just kind of like crack it up because how many times did they have to shoot that scene without maybe Keanu cracking up or the other guy cracking up maybe a little bit because it was so funny? And so I was like, that's like one of my first things I was thinking of, like, oh, that seems like it'd be funny. Like you would crack up at that sequence. But really great sequence there. And then finally, when he gets back to, to Morpheus and everyone and telling, basically Morpheus that, this is really not supposed to happen. This is supposed to be a rewind every time. This is the sixth iteration that we've been doing this. We cannot win. That's not how this program works. And I believe the guy that told me this. And that the Oracle basically is just a machine telling us fibs basically, and not really reality. And that there's no way of winning this. The machines always win. And so even though Neo gives this bad news, they still are trying to stay in the fight. And so when they get hit by the Sentinels send their little bomb to blow up the Nebuchadnezzar, that explosion sequence was really cool. I thought the digital effects were done really well there, and I thought were really fun. And then Neo finding out that he can hear the machines, it's different than it has been previously. Now he has that like feeling like you feel him. That was freaking awesome when he puts his hand down and just makes them all short circuit. Was so freaking cool. And then him going into the coma and then them showing him lying there, and then the other guy that was the only survivor of the attack on the other ships happens to be the Agent Smith guy. I'm like, oh, where's this gonna go? And you're just kind of like, oh crap, that's Agent Smith. You're like, no. And then just that how it ends is just like so like boom. And it says to be concluded. You're just like, what? Like, I remember watching this in 2003 and going, November can't get here fast enough. Come on. Because I think it was maybe September or August when it came out on Blu-ray, so that it was ready for when the third one came out in November. So I remember the aesthetic shit. So I was like, this can't get here fast enough. And so I was like, I'm so happy it's only 6 months away between the two films instead of 2 years. So yeah.
I felt the same. I felt in a similar way, Cyber. I definitely did. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was in the same place.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely the Matrix was big at that point, right? It was a big thing. So like, going to see it in the theater was like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like when Reloading came out, it was like, oh shit, we've got to go see Matrix Part 2, right? You know what I mean? Like it's the Matrix, right? So what do you think out of the pop culture guy? Did you fall asleep over there? Do we need to have the pizza dough guy come out and throw the fucking pizza at you or some shit so we can drop that kick on you?
You're so funny. No. I mean, the pizza man's making me pizza, so that's good. A very good sausages / bacon pizza. Anyway,
I like it when he spins it around his leg or whatever when he's on the ground and shit, whatnot. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Anyway, so yeah, the third act. Let me say, very ambitious. I mean, very action packed. It's very well shot. I mean, the tease of Trinity getting killed, from the beginning was kind of obvious, and I was very intrigued what was going to happen to her if that was going to go through, which it didn't. I was like, oh, okay, because this movie, it kind of like, I guess we haven't talked about this lately. Like, it kind of shows that Neo is more human, like he's more like superhuman than man. So like the fact that this final act kind of confirms that he has more abilities than he realized, and even outside of the Matrix, that was really interesting. um I don't know how well it gets paid off, but we'll see. But I was very happy that Trinity survived, but it gets very annoying if you know what happens. But we're not there yet. Yeah, I agree with Cyber. I was so sad that the Keymaker died. Yeah, one of the Smiths. I was watching it. One of the Smiths had a gun, and they were shooting, and right at that moment when he closed the door, he got ricochet, and so he died like that. It was really sad. I was hoping he could continue on with the sequel, but yeah, who cares? Okay, he done his purpose, as he say, you know. Um, but yeah, so what else? The Sentinels. I actually, I really appreciate we see more Sentinels. The CGI actually, everyone complains about the CGI, in this film. Makes sense. Some of it looks fake, but the Sentinels, in this film look so much better than the first film. I think they look more polished, and those grenades that they throw is, very cool, and I think they look very more polished and more detailed than the first film. For obvious reason, budget and all that. So it was good to see them. The mold, the like H. Smith affected from the beginning, is there trying to kill, Neo in the mid part of the film. He didn't do that, and then apparently he like tricked all the ships. So very intriguing thing, for the most part. I love Hugo Weaving, great character. I like Smith. I do, I like the idea that he's no longer the agent for the program, and I really appreciate we expand upon more of like there's other programs besides the agents. So that was really cool, and seeing Smith, being separate was really cool, and I didn't mind the multiple Smiths. I mean, like, what else he's gonna do? Like, he needs an army. So I thought he was well utilized in this film, as the main villain. I mean, he's the Darth Vader for the Matrix, and I mean, for good reasons. I mean, come on, it's Hugo Weaving. He's such a great villain. Um, yeah, and the architect, I I like the architect. I think one of the problems is just, when you put so much information at me, I it gets a little overwhelming, and I did I mean, I've seen this film multiple times. I've seen this scene multiple times. It took a while for me to realize that, oh, you know, Nero is actually the sixth, version of, these previous predecessors. As we kind of alluded to, there's been hints at this, like the French, the French guy in who's holding the keymaker say that I survived from your other predecessor, and I was like, oh, okay. So they were hinting at that, because I always thought that they just like put this out of their pocket, like they just randomly throw this idea out. No, they were hinting at that, but I kind of feel like just having one person telling you all this, that, oh no, this is yet again just like the Matrix. There were like another simulation that Nero is going through, but he doesn't realize that. And it's a very interesting question, like how much free will that he has here. And yeah, and yeah, I do agree. Every time we see the other versions saying "fuck you" and putting the middle finger, it's very funny. It always kind of crack at me. I mean, a lot of like MTV stuff parried that scene so much, which is always hilarious. Um, yeah, then I mean, when we get to the end, I was like, oh, okay, cool. He has powers. He stumped the Sentinels. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then, of course, the cliffhanger, where Neo is in the coma, and then the other, soldier that's, secretly Agent Smith was like, oh, okay, Um, but overall, it's a good finale. I think it's one of the best good cliffhangers. Like, it's not that bad. It gives you what you want for the next chapter, and that's where we're at. So I really enjoyed the third act very much.
I'm really glad, sir. That's good to know, Andres. I'll sleep better tonight knowing that you felt that way about the third act, sir. That was really on my mind. I was concerned about it. So
I mean,
now I'm relieved. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So hey, guess what? It's time to rate the movie. Woohoo! Very exciting. We get to do our rating. Let's do 1 to 10s, baby. Let's rate this bitch, right? I'll start off, okay? Then I'll go to you, Andres. Then I'll go to you, Cyber. Then you can go last, Zach, right? We'll rate this bitch. I'm going to rate, it's a tough one, but just, without putting a lot of thought into it, I'm going to rate Matrix Part 2 a solid 8. It's an 8. Andres.
8.5 out of 10. I agree with you. It's it doesn't come near close to the Matrix, but that's fine. They're really great scenes. I love great action scenes, great villains. I just don't think it balanced the action and the deep, sci-fi themes they're telling about us. But overall, it's still an enjoyable film. I mean, they're pushing the action, which was great. So that's why I rated a 8.5 out of 10.
Cyber, sir.
I give it a 10. Because it entertained me. I love it. And Monica Bellucci is a 10 all the time. So
She is a 10. Most definitely.
Yeah.
She's definitely fine as hell, I'll tell you that right now. What do you got, Zach?
Well, I don't know if you guys use Letterboxd, but I use Letterboxd from all my movie reviews. So I give it a 4 out of 5. So which that probably means about an 8. So I would have to agree with Jeff and Andreas here. A solid 8 if we're going out of 10. So I honestly, any part of this film is probably a 10 out of 10. All the actors and actresses did an amazing job. All of their dialogue was fucking perfect. Like, they nailed every fucking scene. Like, some of the CGI was a little wonky, which is why I probably knocked it down a little 2 points. But I mean, every other scene in this fucking film was like glorious. So I would go with 8.
I think that's a solid rating. I mean, it's the same one I picked, and good comments, off the rating. I wonder to myself just now, thinking to myself, I wonder, as I mentioned before, as Andres, Cyber, we've talked about it. I wonder what younger kids would think of this movie, like teenagers or whatever. Like if you could get them to sit down and watch it, like if this would actually work for them, if it would be entertaining enough to catch their attention.
Honestly, they would probably say like skibbity toilet, fuck, what the hell is going on? Why does the graphics look so weird?
No, you never know. I'm sure they know. I mean, not all of them.
Well, some of them, they're all brain rot on freaking TikTok nowadays.
Well, all right, folks. So we are done with Matrix Reloaded. It's over. Now the third Matrix film exists. It is now part of our reality. So, it's there now. It's now actually back on the schedule for us to review. Not next week, which is Back to the Future Part 3, but the week after. So to start off on our plugs, since, again, this is his first time with us, Zach, I'm going to go ahead and pull up your pod, South Park Bros, on Apple Podcasts, and I'm going to give you, sir, some time to go ahead and just, plug away and talk about your pod and tell the folks sort of, what y'all got going on over there, what you got cooking.
So this is my podcast called South Park Bros. You should definitely go check it out if you ever listened or ever watched a South Park episode. We plan to record tomorrow. I hope to record tomorrow. There was a new obesity special that they released last Friday on May 24th. But basically, this podcast is all about South Park. Anything that happens around South Park, anything related to South Park that we talk about, like, even if it doesn't, like, for example, we discuss like topics that like don't really happen in South Park, like if it's canon to the show and not. So we do discuss really in depth some episodes, and like if any of you want to come on, like watch an episode, message me, because like I'd be down, because I'm looking for more people to just like talk. Like, even if you don't know anything about South Park, it's okay. I'll be like Jeff over here being an asshole to all the people.
I already told you I'll come on. I told you.
I know you said you would.
We just gotta line it up. I don't mind at all. It seems like it would be interesting. Why not? I'll add it to my like guesting, bucket list.
No, but I'm mentioning that Cyber Shark and
I know that. I was just being silly.
No, you're good. You're good.
But thank you very much, Zach. And that's very kind of you to offer that, to the rest of the team and whatnot and all that. I'm sure that they appreciate it. Why don't we switch over, to Mr. Andres Pop Culture Guy Channel Presents, Time Cop, Time Lord, sir. And then we'll let Cyberneticshark round it out before we piece us out tonight. What's going on, Sir Andres? About what your guy channel presents?
Well, very good. I'm up to 950 subscribers, so that's good. A very slow grow, which is great. I recently posted a retrospect review on X-Men First Class, and just today I posted my top ranking of the Monster verse films. If you don't know, it's the kaiju franchise with the Godzilla and Kong films under Legendary / Warner Brothers Pictures. Check that out. And yeah, and tomorrow, hopefully, I will put out my Matrix 25th anniversary. Just remember that the first one has its anniversary this year, the 25th anniversary, which is crazy. So yeah, and I'm Jeff. I'm thinking our next live stream review, not this Sunday, the next Sunday, in June, is probably going to be Jackie Brown. I think it'll be good to.
That sounds good. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I like that. We've been talking about reviewing that for a long time.
Yeah, so I just thought, like, you know what, let's do it like now in June, because I really want to do something.
Yeah, that'll be a nice change.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be planned. But I want to say thank you, Zach, for coming. It was great to have you in the panel. Thank you for the invitation. I haven't seen I seen bits of South Park here and there, but not a voted fan, I would say. But thank you for coming to the review for the Reloaded. It's really
thank you for having me. I mean, I was supposed to come to the first one, but that was my fault for not checking my messages. But that was like all my fault. But I came for this one to make up for it.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. We definitely appreciate you coming on, and I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed your first show with us. Your first show is always usually not your best one, but at least hopefully you had a good time, and we definitely enjoyed having you on. Guesting to over and covering South Park doesn't sound like it would be that difficult. I would think that most people would be able to handle it.
It really doesn't take that much effort. Like, legit, it's like a copy and paste basically of every episode, but it's a little different on but again, if you just bring anything to the table, I'll break it down for you, like you guys do.
Cyberneticshark, sir. Your plug, sir. And if I remember correctly, I believe I saw somewhere on my notifications, or maybe on your channel. Don't you have a live stream tomorrow night or something like that?
No live stream. No.
Okay, my bad. Maybe that was an older one.
No, I think maybe you saw. I did put up a short earlier today, letting people know that my Dawn of the Planet of the Apes review was going to be live today at 5 p.m.
That's what it was. Okay,
that might be what you saw.
Yeah, okay, my bad. I just misinterpreted the title. I didn't realize it was a short. I thought it was a reaction.
Yeah, no, it was just a short, letting people know it was going to be live today. Well, thank you for seeing it, though. Thank you. Anyways, folks, if you enjoy me here on the panel or as a moderator, you can definitely go find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, Patreon, pretty much anywhere you can find my content. Rumble, BitChute, pretty much everywhere. You can check it out there. My most recent, like I said, I just put it up today, was my Dawn of the Planet of the Apes review for the 2014 film, and put in it as part of my Planet of the Apes series video file. If you have not checked that out, definitely check that out.
Hey, good job on the Alien Romulus trailer reaction there, brother.
Look at that. I know 1,000 views. I was like crazy. I'm like, wow, I don't know how that became so popular. And that's still just the teaser trailer. They haven't even put out a full trailer yet.
It's a good thumbnail.
Yeah. And people have been loving it, as you can see there. If you haven't watched my Rise of the Planet of the Apes review, definitely check that out too. If you haven't seen it, it's a great.
Have you seen the new one?
Oh yeah. I have that already recorded. I have to edit it and put it up and stuff like that.
That the Ministry of the Gentlemanly Warfare trailer looked really good.
Oh, that movie was fantastic. Loved it. Freaking hilarious. Guy Ritchie, man, he's a phenomenal director. If you haven't watched my review on that or haven't seen that yet, people, check it out. It's worth the watch. But I'll be having more reviews up. War of the Planet of the Apes, Kingdom Planet of the Apes, Furiosa, Matrix Saga up soon, along with the Garfield movie review and If review, Strangers Chapter 1 review. So keep your eyes up for those. They'll be up soon. Just watched a few other films the other day. That Infested movie, it's supposed to be a big Amazing Spider film, and I just was not impressed with it. So Sting was a far superior film, I felt, for the year. So if you haven't seen that, check out my mini reviews of those two, see what you think. Furiosa, I can't wait for you guys to see my review of that. That was a really fantastic film.
I thought it was fantastic too. I also watched it recently.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Fury Road and you were looking for something different, I felt Furiosa definitely was a different Mad Max film. It did not seem like Fury Road at all. I was not a fan of Fury Road. I found Fury Road boring. This one I just thought was a far superior film, and I thought that Anya Taylor-Joy was a far superior Furiosa. I liked her better as Furiosa.
What is the deal with the Strangers thing? Is that actually a TV series, or is that actually a Chapter 1 movie?
That's a movie.
Okay,
but it's weird because it's the third movie because we had like another one.
Oh, it's actually a third film in the Strangers lineup. I didn't realize that.
So yeah, 2008 they released the film called The Strangers with Liv Tyler and Scott.
Yeah.
Then Strangers Pray at Night came out a few years later. That was a sequel. This is a prequel. This is supposed to show you how they got their start. And Rennie Harlan, who directed Cliffhanger, Deep Blue Sea, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, he's directing all three of the films. And the main character there, Madeline Pesh, she's starring in all three of the films. And they all are coming out within 6 months of each other. So Strangers Chapter 1 came out in May. We'll see another one towards the end of the year. And then we'll see the third one by the beginning of next year.
That first one was good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know Rennie Harlan directed that. That's really interesting. Huh.
If you haven't seen it, check out that mini review. Check out my full review of it when it comes out. It was a fantastic film. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a great kind of reboot to the series. It definitely, I mean, if you've seen the first one, it's pretty much bit for bit the same as the original, but it's different in its own way. So I think it's a little better than The Strangers from 2008.
Honestly, Cyber, last quick comment. I was hanging out recording with J-Rat last night on some new platform, Kick or whatever. Long story short, he showed me a trailer from a Netflix show with Jennifer Lopez called Atlas. And the trailer was dope.
Yeah, the trailer looks dope, but the movie itself, I heard, is not that great.
Okay, but the trailer looked fucking dope.
Yeah. Because I saw the trailer too, and I thought it looked dope.
Yeah, I was like, damn, fuck J-Lo. Like with the power suit and all that shit, everything and whatnot. It was a cool deal. I like her with sci-fi, right?
Yeah, because if you go onto Netflix, you can watch like a scene from it on just the preview channel. And what I watched, her acting is so over the top, cracks me up.
Well, hey, Jennifer Lopez. I'm not going to badmouth Jennifer Lopez, but she was never exactly like an Oscar contending, actress or some shit. Anyways, folks, look, we love you out there. We're out of here. Listen, have a great rest of the week. It's almost the weekend. Like I said, we've got Fall episode 8 on Friday. On Monday, Andres and I are done with SPED 97, so we're just going to be covering pop culture and fandom news and shit, right? And then next Wednesday, we're actually doing our first episode of The Acolyte, which will be exciting. Can't wait. And Back to the Future 3 next Friday for movie review. So that's it. We love all of you out there. We appreciate all of our supporters. Thanks for everyone for tonight. Thanks to Zach. Thanks to Andres. Thanks to Cyber. Thanks to the Matrix Reloaded. Thanks to Carrie-Anne Moss for being so bangable. And God bless you, folks. Peace.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time? Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park.